So after watching Game 3, I actually feel better about the Knicks than I did before the game started. Now before you click off the video, hear me out. Nobody likes losing in the NBA Finals, nobody likes watching the other team celebrate, nobody likes seeing social media suddenly filled with people saying that the series has changed. But after sitting with Game 3 for a day, I keep coming back to one thought. I think the Knicks just got the wake-up call they needed, because sometimes a loss does not destroy a championship run, sometimes it strengthens it, and I think Game 3 might end up being one of those losses. Let's start with something that Knicks fans did not really want to hear. The Spurs were never getting swept. This team is too talented. Victor Wembanyama is too good. The home crowd was too loud. The desperation was too high. And at some point, San Antonio was going to punch back. And honestly, that's exactly what happened in Game 3. The Spurs played with urgency, they played with energy, and they played like a team whose season was on the line, because it was. What would have worried me is if the Knicks got blown out by 20. What would have worried me is if New York completely looked overwhelmed. Neither of those things happened. Instead, the Knicks played one of their sloppiest games of the finals and still had opportunities late. That is important. Now, I know what a lot of Knicks fans are saying. Wemby dominated, and yes, he was incredible. He's one of the best players on the planet. He's going to have games like that, but you don't beat Victor Wembanyama by expecting him to score 12 points. That's just not realistic. But here's the thing. I don't think Wemby was the biggest reason the Knicks lost. I think the Knicks were themselves. The turnovers, the rushed possessions, the stagnant offense, the lack of ball movement, those are things that New York can actually control, and honestly that's encouraging because it's easier to fix your mistakes than it is to stop a generational talent. This is where I think Game 4 gets interesting, because if there was one thing that stood out to me in Game 3, it was Karl-Anthony Towns, or maybe I should say the lack of Karl-Anthony Towns. Too often the offense became Brunson trying to save possessions, too often Cat disappeared for long stretches, and that's not a criticism of Brunson, he's been amazing. But the Knicks are at their best when defenses have multiple problems to solve. If Brunson has the ball every possession, life gets easier for San Antonio. If Cat starts touching the ball more, now the Spurs have another problem, and that's why I think Game 4 could be a huge bounce back game for him. One reason I'm not panicking is simple. Mike Brown. Think about every challenge this team has faced this year. Losing streaks, injuries, roster changes, tough playoff matchups, adversity. Every time something went wrong, the Knicks adjusted. That's what good coaches do, and now Mike Brown gets 2 days to look at the film, 2 days to study the mistakes, and 2 days to figure out how to get Cat more involved. And 2 days to clean up the turnovers. So if you're asking me who I trust more to make adjustments, Mike Brown or a young Spurs team, I'm taking Mike Brown every single time. And here's the part that nobody is talking about. The pressure actually shifted after Game 3. Before that game, all the pressure was on New York. People were wondering if they were about to sweep. People were talking about a championship parade. Now the pressure is on San Antonio because they have to prove Game 3 was not a fluke. They have to prove they found something real. They have to prove that they can do it again. That's not easy. It's easier said than done, especially against a veteran Knicks team. And honestly, I think Game 4 is where we learn a lot about both teams, because now the emotional stuff is gone. The desperation from being down 0-2 already happened. The excitement of winning a finals game already happened, and now it becomes basketball, now it becomes adjustments, and now it becomes execution. And that's where I think the Knicks have an advantage, because New York does not need to reinvent itself. The formula is already there. Move the ball, get Cat involved throughout the game, protect the basketball, win the rebound battle, do those things, and they're in great shape. But here's the biggest reason I still believe in this team. We still have not seen the Knicks' best game of the finals. Think about that. Seriously. Have the Knicks played a complete 48-minute game yet? No. Have Brunson, Cat, Bridges, Hart, and Mitch all clicked at the same time? Not really, and despite that, they still lead the series 2-1. That's why I keep coming back to this idea. Game 3 was not the beginning of the end. Game 3 was a reminder that championships are hard, a reminder that nobody hands you a title, and a reminder that great teams have to respond, and I think the Knicks team will. So no, I'm not celebrating a loss. I'm not pretending Game 3 didn't matter. It did. The Spurs earned that win, but I also think the Knicks fans should not panic, because sometimes the most important game in a championship run is not the game that you win. It's the game that reminds you what it takes to finish the job, and after watching Game 3, I think the Knicks just got the wake-up call they needed. So as always, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and sub to the channel for more Knicks news and updates you will not want to miss. It's been KNYT here, and I'll see you guys in the next one.